Morning, everybody. I hope you've all had a fabulous week off. The time went very quickly, or it did for me anyway. I couldn't believe it. When it was Sunday again, I thought, wow, where did that week go? There it was gone. And now we're back in school and it's the run up to Easter. And hopefully the weather's going to be much nicer, a little bit warmer. And you never know, usually before Easter, we manage to get on the field. So fingers crossed, everybody. That would be lovely. Assembly today, we're going to be talking about one of our senses, and it's actually the sense of hearing. Really important. Most of us are very lucky because we can hear. Not everyone can. So some people are deaf or partially deaf. That means that they can't hear at all, or they can only partly hear, and they can't hear properly. Those people are not able to hear all the different sounds that we enjoy. So if you think of all the things that you hear in a day, so you might hear your mum or your dad in the morning calling you to get up, sound of your breakfast being got ready, you hear traffic noises, birds singing, you hear your friends chatting, school bell, then you hear your teachers' voices, you hear the radio, TV, people talking to you, music. And you know what to do because you hear people telling you. You learn a lot by using your ears. So I just want us to think about what it would be like if we couldn't hear. Sometimes, however, even though you can hear, you don't always listen. And you don't listen carefully to what you're being told to do. So the boy in this story is a boy who he could hear perfectly well, but he was lazy and he didn't listen properly. Okay. This boy lived a long time ago in a faraway land. He was apprenticed by a powerful wizard or sorcerer. The boy worked for the sorcerer and did lots of jobs for him, and the sorcerer taught the boy some of his magic secrets. The sorcerer made most of his spells in a big black cauldron full of water. The magic ingredients were added to the water, and the sorcerer stirred the liquid and muttered magic words. The spells needed lots of water, and it was the boy's job to carry buckets of water from the river back to the cauldron in the cellar. The work was very hard, and the boy hated the job. He wasn't a very good apprentice. He never listened, and so when he was allowed to make magic spells, they always went wrong. One day, the sorcerer called to the boy to fetch more water. The boy heard, but he took no notice. Let him get it himself, he said. I'm staying here. And he lay on the grass near the cellar window, watching the sorcerer at his work. But the sorcerer didn't get the water himself. When the boy didn't come, the sorcerer muttered some magic murmurs to the broomstick propped in the corner of the cellar. Instantly, the broomstick sprang alive. It sprouted arms and legs, did a somersault, and its twiggy brush became its head. The boy gaped in astonishment. The broomstick grabbed two buckets, leapt with a spring into the river, and in a trice was back with the buckets filled to the top with water. The sorcerer poured the water into the cauldron, muttered more magic words, and the broom went back to its corner and back to normal. The boy in his hiding place in the grass could hardly believe his eyes. A few days later, the sorcerer had to go away on business. He left instructions for the boy to keep the cauldron filled with water and to stir it every half an hour. The boy looked into the nearly empty cauldron and thought of all the buckets of water he would have to carry to fill it. Then he had an idea. You can probably guess. Why should I carry water when I can have that old broomstick do it for me, he said to himself. I think I can remember the words the sorcerer used to bring alive the broomstick. He walked to the stick in the corner and said the words he thought the sorcerer had used. The broomstick once more sprang to life. His wooden arms grabbed two buckets and its wooden legs rushed it away to the river and back, with water splashing and spilling from the buckets. The broomstick poured the water into the cauldron and hurried away to get some more. In no time at all, it was back, water tipping from its buckets on the way. Into the cauldron went the rest of the water, and on again to the river went the broomstick. Backwards and forwards it went, faster and faster, dripping puddles of water everywhere. The cellar floor was now awash, but the boy didn't care. The cauldron was nearly full. He hadn't had to do any of the work at all. 2 more buckets full and the cauldron would be filled. Into the cellar came the last 2 buckets. "Hooray!" shouted the boy. "That's enough now. Stop. Back to your corner." But the broomstick took no notice. On again to the river it went, back with the water into the cauldron. The water poured from the cauldron and cascaded to the floor. Back went the broomstick for more, faster and faster. "Stop!" shrieked the boy. "Stop!" But it was no use. He hadn't listened for the words that would stop the magic. Soon the water was waist high and up to the cellar windowsill. The boy was frantic. He grabbed an axe and tried to chop the broomstick down. The stick dodged and weaved. The boy chopped again and cut the broomstick clean in half. "Phew, there," he sighed with relief. But no sooner had the sigh escaped his lips than the 2 halves of the broomstick each grew arms, legs, and a head. And now 2 sticks with 4 buckets ran to the river and back. Water began to pour down the street. It ran down the path and reached the feet of the sorcerer walking up the path. The sorcerer grumbled into his beard and waved his arms towards the cellar. There was a huge flash and a crash and a whoosh of silver smoke. When the smoke cleared, the last drops of water were emptying out of the cellar and running away to the river. The broom was whole again in its corner. Only the boy showed signs of what had happened. He was pale, afraid, trembling, and dripping from head to foot. "You'd better get yourself dry," said the sorcerer. He never said anything more about that awful day, but from then on, the boy listened carefully to everything that was said to him. So you don't have to help with magic spells like the boy in the story, but we do have to help with jobs at home and at school. So let's all make sure that we listen properly to what we're supposed to do. Then hopefully we won't have disasters like the Sorcerer's Apprentice did. Okay. What we are concentrating on this half term is getting back to absolutely wonderful behaviour as we expect from early and primary children. So you will find that your teachers are going to be making sure that you come into school and you go out of school very sensibly, quietly. We're looking for children who are walking down those corridors. And if I can find one class that are better than all the rest, then there will be something special for that class at the end of half term. But we'll wait and see, shall we? Okay. Have a lovely week, everyone, and I will see you around in school. Okay. Bye for now.